So we have a special video today. A lot of people have asked me to explain the elements, which is a sequence. It's kind of a ritualistic sequence that is very, very nourishing and beautiful. And so this sequence, which honors the four elements, fire, water, earth, and air, was taught to me by my teacher Terry Walden of Troop Salamat or Salamat Tribal, and taught to her by her teacher Andrea of Blue Dragon. So this sequence is really, really precious. I'm going to dance it once and then I'll explain it. So here we go. Sorry, there's no music, but a lot of the movements in this sequence are they're less technically difficult and more about intention. So we'll start with the element of air. So I'll just demonstrate from behind that when we begin, because we're dancing tribal style, we have a little angle to our bodies, and we're going to begin to the left because that's how people are seeing me, my troop mates. So this movement is called, we do it about 5 times. So the movement is you bring your hand down by your face and then push out without dropping your elbow, right? So you bring it down beside your face and push out. You have your dance posture. So remember, dance posture is lift chest, go down in the heels, slightly tuck your pelvis, and tilt your weight back into your heels. So we're from regular posture, we bend our knees, tuck our pelvis, lift our chest, and shift our weight back into our heels. So your arms are up overhead, drop the shoulder blades, bring it down by your face and out, and down and out, down and out. And the idea here, this movement again is called cloud pushing arms, is that we are the goddesses who command the wind and the storms, and here we are doing that. I'll explain more about the meanings in our second or third go round. Right now it's just the technical explanation how to. Okay, with hands it's almost always, it's really nice to keep the hands straight for the most part. There are some exceptions to this. Keep the hands straight and move the wrist from side to side with different movements. So here, keeping my hands straight, and then even as it comes up, it's the wrist is bent, but the hand stays straight. It just adds elegance to the hands. Okay, so we do that about 5 times, right? Let's do it. So we're in dance posture, slight dance angle, arms up, drop shoulder blades, and look to the left. Look to the right. You are the goddess commanding the winds and the storms. All right, when we're done with that move, we bring our arms up overhead and we do a lotus flower. Lotus flower. Right? So lotus flower is one hand up, one hand down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's very important, straight hand, bent wrist, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this movement is very quick. You don't really notice if you don't do it perfectly right? Because you're pushing clouds, and then you come up and do one lotus flower quickly. Bring your palms together, look up to the sky, and listen to the mother. So here, this is obviously earth. The other one was air. So when we're done with the lotus flower up above our heads, we bring our hands, palms down, face the back of the hand to the audience, and all the fingers together to keep it nice and clean. Touch our ears, then go down. Once we hit the ground, we're going to do a figure of 8, dragging our fingernails on the ground, right? So I'm doing it up high so you can see that I'm here, and I go on the ground, and I'm watching what I'm doing. That's where my eyes are going. We do this about 4 or 5 times. Then we're going to come up in fire. So fire is like this. Come up in fire. Coming all the way up. And then at the very top, there's the top of the flame. I'll explain that in a second. We pause. And then we bring the fire down to the belly. Okay, this is my right hand. So as I come up in fire, this is the movement I'm making, right? All the way down from the ground, all the way up. It doesn't matter how many times, just whatever works. And ideally everyone's coming up from the ground at the same time, in a group. So we come up from the ground at the same time, come at the top, and then comes back down. And here we go. So a little note about undulations. So undulations, as you know, are any kind of, usually people think of this undulation. We'll get to that. We do have that in this sequence. But I'm talking about a forearm undulation. So an undulation, the definition is joints that move in sequence. So it goes elbow, wrist, phalanges, like that, right? So ideally, the tip of your fingers is always up. That's not necessary, but that's like if you want to do a very perfect undulation, right? So it's the tips of my fingers are always up. Even when I go like this, they're intending up. Does that make sense? So it's like I'm never going like this ever. So I'll show you again. Thinking of that detail, we come up. Stop for a second and come down. And then we put it in our belly with our left hand. The right hand holds the planet. So it's as if in this hand I was now holding a planet, something round and rather large. And then here, my arm is lined up over my body, hand in front of shoulder, elbow in front of shoulder. And I'm going to lift and do a forearm undulation here at the same time as I'm doing a body undulation. And the idea is that I'm regando al planeta, so I'm watering the planet. I'm blessing and bestowing water on the planet with this movement. So the elbow lifts the same time as the chest, and we do this nice, lovely movement, watering the planet. We do it in quarter turns to symbolize the 4 directions. So you, and I lift, quarter turn, lift, quarter turn, lift, and then here we'll change sides very slowly and big. So your movements, your arms are slow and big. Same thing on this side, lift and lower, and this symbolizes blessing the other hemisphere with water. And when we come back to the center, we're going to do a floreo down by our hips, a floreo at shoulder height, and a floreo up above. And that's the end of the whole sequence. So again, cloud pushing arms. Use your latissimus dorsi, this muscle here, to pull everything back. So it's very strong back. You're going to pull it back. Pull it back on this side. And that helps you open up the area around your neck. About 5 times, bringing hands up, floreo. Actually, that's the lotus flower, flor de loto. Listen to the mother. We do this movement about 4 times, figure of 8 on the ground. Coming up in fire, coming up. El fuego arde, the fire burns here, and then come back down, putting it in our belly, holding the planet, and to the left, 2, 3, and switch out the arms, other side, 1, 2, 3, and down. Here we're going to do a floreo at our hip level, floreo shoulder height, and floreo up above. When we do the cloud pushing arms, as I previously said, we are the goddesses who command the wind and the storms. And this corresponds to the intellectual realm. This is the power of our thoughts, the power of our mind to influence our environment. So the wind and the storms are figurative, and they are the wind and the storms of your mind, right? So it's the power of the mind is the message in the element of air. Corresponds to the intellectual realm. Okay, then we go to the lotus flower. This lotus flower up above our head simply symbolizes life, being alive, right? Then we listen, touching the ears, to the mother, and we go down onto our knees and do this movement. I'll go ahead and do it. So as we do this movement, we contemplate. This is obviously the element earth, and we contemplate the 5 senses. This is the el reino material. This is the material realm, and it's what our 5 senses can perceive, right? It's what we touch, feel, taste, smell, see, and so we are just giving thanks for all those things, and it's the material realm that is being honored. When we come up in fire, this is the spiritual realm. This is the passion, your passion, passion for everything in your life. It's your lust for life. It's your passion, basically. So the passion is not a physical thing. It's you being really turned on by life, right? So it's all the passion in your life. Passion. And then passion burns bright, and then it dies down into embers, and we come up, and at the very top we want to simulate a flame. So my hands are like that. They are arched and tips meet, and I'm trying to create a little flame, you know, the flames that, just a flame. So we're here, and we keep it way up high, and then start to come down. And what this symbolizes is the spiritual realm and passion that burns bright and passion that wanes in its natural cycle. And this is important, at least to me. It gives me a lot of peace, because we should not always be burning so bright. We would burn up. So we have to remember it's a natural cycle, that sometimes you are bright and shining, and sometimes you need to take it all back in and nourish the embers. The embers. So that's the symbolism and the lesson of fire. Spiritual realm, passion, arde. I love that word in Spanish. And disminuye, right? Arde is like, I guess it's just burn bright, but it sounds so much better in Spanish. Okay, then, so we bring it down here. We hold the planet with our right hand, right? And we bring the elbow out, so it's not like this. It's out. And like I said, line up the hands. We're going to do an undulation where we bless the planet with water. Okay, so as you do this undulation, you raise up and down, and you're blessing the planet with water. You go around in the 4 directions, and that's, four corners, and that symbolizes the 4 directions. And the idea with the element of water is el reino emocional, the emotional realm. So with emotions, or sentimientos, however you want to think of them, emotions come and go. It's their nature. Emotions don't stay the same ever. They're always flowing. And so water represents the emotional realm that just flows, flows, flows. So here we are blessing the planet with water, and as it comes, so will it go. So it's, that's the nice part about it. So then we go around the 4 directions, and as we change, we make a big, like you're just holding this huge ball, and then do the other side, 4 directions, right? Go around 4 corners. When you come back to the front, I like to stand sort of like this. I just think it's prettier for whatever reason. And we do a floreo at our hips, floreo at shoulder height, and floreo up above. And what these 4 mean is, this one is in honor of the flora of the planet, the plants. And this one is in honor of the fauna of the planet, the animals. And this one is in honor of humanity. I like to joke that because we think we're above all the others, we think we are not, but we think that, or we tend to think that. We tend to behave that way. Flora, fauna, humanidad, right? Flora, fauna, humanity. So that is the whole sequence. Let's repeat it a few times without me jabbering away. Here we go. Sorry for the lack of music, but I just don't have access to everything in my studio today. I'm at my mother's house. as fast or as slow in these as you want, but slower is always better. Okay, once again, the element of air, the intellectual realm, the power of the mind to command the wind and the storms of your mind. Lotus flower in honor of life. Listen, looking up, and to the mother, looking down. About 3, 4, or 5 times here, whatever works for you. Coming up in fire. And 4 corners, 4 directions. Blessing the planet with water. Intellectual realm. Life. Material realm. Giving thanks for all that we enjoy with our senses. Spiritual realm. Our connection with spirit, our connection with our higher power, our passion in life. And water, emotional realm. Not being attached to feelings that come and go. Fauna. And humanity. This sequence, I think, is so nourishing and so, I guess nourishing is the best word. It's just, I hope it's very healing for the person who I have in mind upon doing this video, and for anybody else who is seeing it and enjoying it. It's really quite a sequence, and this sequence has traveled the world now. A lot of people that I know do it, and they do it in ritualistic ways and moments that are of honor to the 4 elements that we enjoy. And I hope that you've enjoyed it. Have a great day.